Ashley. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the actual pros and cons of having sex. I like to break down us as humans into 4 key components, which would be physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental. And I think what people don't realize is that sex can affect all 4 of these. A lot of people think that, well, sex is just a physical act. It's just our bodies, you know, nothing else really gets involved. It doesn't affect my spirit, it doesn't affect my emotions, which oftentimes in the media, you know, like he was saying, you don't see a lot of the after effects of having sex before marriage. You don't see your favorite characters turning up with STDs and emotional heartbreak and all that all the time. Sometimes they make it seem like, oh, it's no big deal, I'll move on. So I'm just going to kind of touch on those. And so I'll start with physical. There are pros to it, which could be, like, I keep seeing on MTV, they keep talking about AIDS, and all these kids are like, go get tested for AIDS, 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 AIDS. And a benefit physically of remaining abstinent is you don't have to worry about STDs. You don't have to worry about getting life-threatening illnesses from the person that you're sleeping with or from the person they were sleeping with, so on and so forth. As well as you don't need to be concerned with an unplanned pregnancy or becoming a parent at 13 or 14 or 16. Some of those would be the cons, would be turning up with an STD or, you know, having a child when you're really young and maybe not getting to go to college, not getting to, you know, do whatever you want to do. So then we have spiritually, and a lot of people don't understand how premarital sex can affect you spiritually, but we are spiritual beings, and Christ, as Christians, Christ lives in us. And so when we violate Christ's word like that, it affects our spirit. In 1 Corinthians it says, flee from sexual immorality. And in Luke it says, blessed is he who hears the word of God and obeys it. And so if you obey the word of God, which is to flee from sexual immorality, then that would be a pro to it affecting you spiritually. If you don't, it can put up a wall between you and God because it's sin, and that's basically what sin does, is it puts a barrier between us and Christ. So if you're living in a sexually immoral relationship, then you're putting up walls between you and Christ, which can in turn cause for lots more problems and things like that. Then there is emotionally, and I know, like, so many people that I knew that were having premarital sex and, you know, the relationship didn't work out. They were heartbroken and they didn't realize the insecurities that come with it or the jealousies that come with it when that person starts sleeping with another person. The fact that somebody has seen them or knows that much about them, it's such an intimate act that sometimes people don't realize, like, how involved and how much of yourself you're actually giving away. And for somebody to take that and then to leave you and then go do that with somebody else can be very hard. And so emotionally there are consequences to doing this. When you're in the bounds of marriage, there's commitment. You know, when you say forever, then you should have a sense of security and a sense of safety and knowing that that person's not going to leave me, that I'm going to share this with this person and this person only, and then they're not going to go do this with somebody else. I'm not going to go do this with somebody else. And there's just a sense of security there that, you know, is unmatched and you can't find in a non-committed relationship. And then the last one is mental. And you know, that it's kind of similar to the emotional stuff, but I just think that there's a lot of, I'm sorry, I'm losing my thoughts here. But mentally, I think a lot of that jealousy really probably falls under the mental, but is just trying to deal with the non-commitment and stuff like that. I think I accidentally threw that under emotional, but it's just that. It's the there's no level of commitment, there's no level of security, and mentally that can kind of, I don't know, it can kind of weigh on you. And so, you know, having that commitment stuff really is beneficial. But now I'm gonna do, that was really serious. Now I'm gonna do like a little fun skit, but I need 4 male volunteers. Okay, we're gonna say that this tape represents your sexuality or your sex life. And right now, as a virgin, as a new clean piece of tape, it's pure, it's clean, it's all sticky, it's ready to...
Sticky.
It's ready to be used for one purpose. If I was gonna like pack up a box or something, I would just use this tape, right? Okay. You guys come over here. Okay. So we're gonna pretend that I am a senior in high school and it's prom night. What's your name?
Joe.
Joe. Joe is my prom date. Isn't he handsome? So Joe and I go to prom, and you know, there's a lot of pressure because, you know, prom night and what is he gonna be expecting, and all of my friends are gonna want to hear like, you know, what happened, blah blah blah. So I decide, well, I don't want to look like a loser in front of my friends, so I'll sleep with Joe on prom night. Okay? So I'm gonna give him my tape.
Yeah, rip it.
Okay, so I give him my tape. Now, it's all like, you know, it's working good and it's on there. Well, Joe decides things just aren't working out. I'm going away to college and there's probably gonna be pretty college girls there, so why commit? So, goodbye. So Joe and I break up, and as you can see, I have a little bit of Joe left with me. So unfortunately, pieces of Joe, emotionally and spiritually, they're gonna have to come with me into my relationships now, especially my sexual relationships. So then I meet
Joel?
So then I meet Joelle. It's different from Joe. So we're in college and we're like, well, we're kind of grown-ups now. And so he's on the football team, which is really cool, and he's popular. And so we date for a little bit, but I noticed the girls are kind of flirting with him, and I'm like, if I don't do something special, then, you know, he might want to like meet one of these cheerleaders or something. So I go, okay, well, I'll have sex with Joe because maybe then I'll make him stick around a little bit longer. Okay. So I give Joe my tape. Joel, I'm sorry. I'm getting my ex mixed up with my current boyfriend. So we date for a little bit, but he meets a really cute cheerleader, and he cheats on me with her. and I'm like, okay, what all do I have here on my tape now? I don't know. I mean, maybe I have an STD on my tape. Maybe I have an unplanned pregnancy. Maybe I just have some emotional baggage on here from being cheated on, you know? But that's all stuff that I have to keep with me now. It's stuck to my tape. So then I meet
Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. I thought you were gonna say like Joe. So Joe and I meet. So Tyler and I date for like about a year. We decide, you know, maybe we'll take things a little bit slower. I'm like, okay, I want to like be pretty sure I'm gonna get married to this one before I have sex with him. So we date for a year, and I'm like, that's probably a pretty good amount of time. I mean, we talk about marriage and we talk about having kids, so it's looking pretty likely. So I go ahead and give him my tape. We date for about 6 more months, and he just decides, you know, I'm not feeling it anymore. We have different goals, we're growing apart. So we don't get married, which I thought we were gonna get married. So we break up. Now there's some hair on there, which is great. So I have pieces of Tyler with me too. So now I have Joe, Joelle, and Tyler. They're all here on my sexuality, basically. And this has to come with me. So then I meet
Matt.
And at this point, I'm like, okay, I went to church camp, even though I'm like out of college. And you know, I was like, wow, I really should be saving myself for marriage, and I really should wait until I'm in a committed relationship. That way I know that my tape isn't going to be ripped off and, you know, misused. And so Matt and I date, and we put up front clearly that we want to wait till we're married. And he says, oh, me too, that's always been my plan, and I've been saving myself, and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, that's great. So we get engaged. We get married, we have a great reception, I look good. Just kidding. And then comes our wedding night, and so yay! And I get to go give him my tape. Only it's lost a lot of its original vibrancy, and it's been so misused that this is what I have to give him. And he pulls out, you know, he's got this clean, clear piece of tape that he could stick on me even though I'm wearing a sweater, but it still sticks. And his tape wasn't misused, and he is not bringing all this baggage and who knows what into our marriage, because now this is it, you know? And so if you use it correctly and you wait, you will have something like this, you know, to give on your wedding night. That's it.
All right, I don't know how I feel about all this.